Thanks, Ridwan. Um, yeah, no pressure. So I need to come up with some wisdom for everyone.
What does what's up?
Um, so I actually wanted to share a little bit of the background to how we came to be working with Malcolm and the Zibuza team. We actually sent out an RFP last year, and we had this idea, and I wonder. I see we're sharing screen. Maybe we can stop sharing for now. Perfect. So we sent out an RFP because we wanted to grow our alumni community, and we'd been trying a few different ways, and we wanted some new thinking, some new innovation to enable us to better connect and to better support and to grow this community of alumni. We've worked with over 2,000 school principals from across the country over the last 14 years. And we've seen there's so much knowledge within this community. There's so much experience and wisdom that we can share. But how do we facilitate that? How do we facilitate that sharing that somebody in Umlazi can influence a principal in Khayelitsha? How can we do that? So we reached out, ran this RFP, and Malcolm and his team were actually won that RFP, and they actually came on as service providers to Citizen Leader Lab. Now, as we all know in the NGO space, everything is always flexible, everything is always fluid, and our funding opportunity to develop a new technology did not come through. And but then we were still left with this potential relationship with Malcolm and his team, and we said, well, look, we haven't got this money right now. We think we will get it, but let's see what else we can do. And I think for me, this tells in the story, there's a lot of learnings. Firstly, that we as South Africans, we make a plan, right? We understand what we want to achieve, what we need to achieve, and especially us in the social sector. Things never work out the way we wanted to or planned it to, but we are flexible and we come up with alternative solutions. And I think this is something as South Africans we don't fully appreciate about ourselves, and we all have it because we all faced challenging environments. We don't have all the resources that we would like to, but that makes us sharper. That makes us come up with smarter ideas. So it's something that I actually am very proud of as a South African. We all have it. We just sometimes forget that we have it. So I do like taking every opportunity to remind everyone, all South Africans, that we have this. So that was the first thing, and that's led us today to what is going to be showcased in a few minutes. But the second thing is, and I was briefly chatted to Malcolm the other day about collaboration, and it's one of the things that we all recognize in our country, that the big problems that we have, big challenges of poverty, inequality, unemployment, they can't be solved by one or two people. There's no one or two organizations that have all the secrets, all the answers, and we have to collaborate. And we know this. I think we all understand this. We have to work with government and support the Department of Education to be more successful. We can't be always criticizing and fighting with each other. We need to find ways to work with each other. We know this, and it's hard. It is a difficult thing for us to do. Um, and then, every now and then you'll meet somebody like Malcolm, and I must give him kudos for this because he's the most open, willing, enthusiastic individual. One of the best leaders I've met, definitely working in this space, who is so willing to share. And that's where that's the start of collaboration. It's relationship and it's trust. And you build trust by sharing, by being open, by being vulnerable. And if you can do that, then amazing things can happen. So I want to just acknowledge you, Malcolm, for the road that you've taken with us. I really appreciate it, I really value it. It's not what we planned, it's not what we intended, but I love the way it's growing and developing. And I hear every now from Ridwan and the poor what you're bringing to the team, and I think, wow, we are we are so lucky to have you in our circle, in our community. So I am not sure what's going to happen next because I am here as well to see Zibuza being launched. So I'm very excited. I can't say anything more, Ridwan, but I hope that whatever happens today, that we recognize the power of community. You know, we are stronger together. That's a South African thing as well. We can support each other. We just need to make time for each other, to understand each other, and we need to have that belief. Let's not lose that. Times may be tough in our particular environments, but let's not lose that belief in ourselves that we can. I hope that that's sufficient, Ridwan.
So
Does that work?
beautiful. It's beautiful. And your beautiful smile just makes up for this beautiful launch as well. So thank you for bringing your amazing smile with us today. And I'm sure everybody is smiling. Yeah, I know we're all inundated and saturated with social media, myself included, but I really believe that this offers us an amazing platform to continue connecting with each other and supporting each other. But before we're going to ask Malcolm to do a deep dive, just a little bit about Malcolm and the platform before we really take a deeper dive into what's on offer. So, Malcolm, over to you. Welcome.
Thank
Thank you, and good afternoon, everybody. We've got somebody. Oh, there we go. It's such an honor and privilege to be here. And I think the context of this was I was a leader for education back in 2014 with the principal of Norwood Primary. And I think at that point, I was just entering education. So working with you guys was certainly kind of brought me up to speed because I'm not from the education sector. And it's been quite a journey from there. We actually launched Zibuza in 2015 as a pilot. And our initial focus was really on teachers and how could we support teachers. And we started to learn quite a lot of interesting lessons in terms of a culture or lack thereof of sharing and collaboration. And so we shifted our focus to working with organizations that are working with teachers, either through academic or non-academic supports. And the platform and the community itself has grown organically over the last 8 years. Fast forward to 2020, and we all experienced COVID and the impact of COVID. For us, it was a bit interesting in that we grew from 10,000 members to 23,000 members in the space of 10 months. And with that came the additional roles for learners and parents who were signing up to our learning engagement platform while schools were shut down. And for the longest time, I thought to myself, we've got teachers, we've got organizations, we've got learners, we've got parents. The only thing that's missing is principals. And then that conversation between Kamala and I happened, and here we are today. So I think in terms of the education ecosystem, we've now got all stakeholders captured in a very safe and secure virtual environment. And to introduce, before I dive deep, is maybe just to speak about the age we're living in, which is the fourth industrial revolution. Now, this for me is not something new. I'm a technologist by qualification. And everything I'm about to show you is built on top of the e-learning white paper that was commissioned in and published as far back as 2004. So 20 years later, I think this is also testament to South Africa, our resilience, our creativity, and partnerships, in terms of working with government and other stakeholders, the private sector, especially around funding this. I think, in South Africa, we look at kind of the public school sector and we want to bridge the digital divide and we want to improve the quality of education outcomes. And so we've been working with corporate South Africa over the last 8 years in various capacities, funding so that members don't have to pay anything for the platform. So I think beyond technology, we also need to look at these elements in terms of how different partnerships and collaborations are taking place. Without further ado, I will share my screen and get into this presentation. Okay, Zibuza.net is what's known as a web-based service. So it's not an app currently. It is accessible on any device or operating system or browser, but preferably Chrome. It's much more stable. This is the landing page. You can see some of the stats in terms of the resources that we make available and the features. If you want, you can enter as a guest, and that will allow you to navigate the platform without having to sign up. It is a closed community, and we do that for safeguarding of our members. And you'll note when you fill out the registration form, these are the different role types that you can select from. So if you are a teacher, you can select teacher. If you are a principal, you'd select principal, especially in the case of all the leaders in education or for education. Interestingly, when you select principal, you can also tick a box in your profile that says you still teach. So that's something to note. If you are working in an organization, whether that's a non-profit company or government organization, you can register as an organization, and we'll provide you with the tools and services to be able to build an audience with our community. And as you can see from the dashboard indicator, everything we do is backed up by data. So currently we have over 35,000 members present in the community, as well as 251 organizations representing various stakeholders in the education ecosystem. We're currently only active in South Africa. So when you are completing the registration, you can look forward to your province. The referrer code is optional, but once you sign up to the community, everybody has a unique referrer code that is linked to their name. So I think, Ridwan, I'll give you the opportunity to post your referrer code in the chat for people that will be signing up. And this referrer code essentially will showcase how much people you've introduced to the community. And what we've done is we've gamified the process, and I'll show you what that looks like in terms of utilizing data to incentivize members, to recognize them and reward them for their contributions and participation to the community. So for every person that signs up using your referral code, you'll earn 5 points. And depending on the role that you've signed up as, you will then get published on our monthly leaderboard, and you would stand a chance to win either our teacher organization. And we're quite excited to announce as part of this launch that we will be having a principal of the month for starting in November. As I already have an account, I can log directly into the platform. Now, we've been dubbed the LinkedIn and Facebook of education. And as I log in, I'm sure you can appreciate why. We've adopted best of breed practices in terms of look and feel. So you don't have to learn anything to be able to utilize the platform. Before I continue, one important thing that I wanted to share with you guys in terms of accessing the community is because we work with learners and we need to safeguard learners and comply with the laws and regulations, I'm going to show you guys what a learner and parent profile will look like. As you can see, there's no news feed. It's a dashboard which showcases courses, tutors available, and the resources in our community. And the navigation on the left menu also showcases all the features and functionality that would be available to learners and parents. Starting off with my profile, you'll note that kids are not allowed to upload profile pictures. And when we publish their profiles, we don't showcase their surnames and other information relevant to their profiles. So this is one of the mechanisms that we're utilizing for safeguarding of learners. You can then also link a parent or guardian to your profile to note all the activities that you are partaking in the community. And then we've got various spaces that learners can access, which if you think about who do learners interact with, whether it's the teacher or whether it's organizations that's supporting learners, we've got groups which are collaborative spaces that are user generated, meaning you guys create and manage the groups and publish the content in there. But we provide the mechanisms for it to be safe. So as I scroll down, you can see what we expose learners to. One of the things that I'm quite excited about is another partnership with Funza Literacy Trust, where we've created a book club. And you can see there it's got its own dedicated feed. And we're currently reviewing a book called Spectrum. This feature also has a chat facility. And if you go into that, you can again see some of the mechanisms we're using to safeguard learners. Where in this space, you cannot upload pictures or stream videos, and everybody in the chat has access to view what conversations are happening. I'm going to switch back now to the organization profile. Because a lot of the functionality that I would have shown you under the learner profile is then available to other members or role types, including teachers, principals, and other organizations. So the first thing you'd want to note is everybody has a digital identity. And when we talk about digital citizenships, this is probably the foundational layer, in that this is your digital representation that you will share with the rest of the world. So I'm sharing my screen with you. As Kamala said, I'm very open. So nobody gets to see this apart from you. And in this information, depending on your role, you will fill out various information. You'll note that it's not mandatory, and we don't share or sell any of this information in terms of, again, being Popeye compliant. When you sign up, the unique referrer code that we spoke about earlier on will be on your profile. And for teachers, principals, and organizations, you can upload a profile pic of yourself. Now, this is standard, but the importance of this is when you connect with people from all over the province and they haven't met you in person, it's good to put a face to the name, and people are more likely to engage you if you have a profile picture than if you don't, or if you're using a placeholder to showcase who you are. We then capture various information, and again, this is all dependent on you. As organizations, we've also created a marketplace where you can build and publish courses. So even over here, you'll see with the banking details, you don't have to provide it if you don't plan on selling products and services in the community. But we do need to know if you are, where to pay you if somebody procures your products or your services. And then you can also click on view your public profile to see what it looks like. So if you look at my profile, it's got my title, it gives you some stats. So everything we do is backed by data, as I mentioned. That is indicative of the value that you are representing in this space. So you can see, when did I join, how many posts I've contributed, how many people are following me, and when I was last active. I've also earned some badges. So you can see I mentioned I was a leader for education in 2014. So I've got this alumni badge. And if you want, you can click on the badge and see what it's about. I do encourage you guys to navigate the platform and see what other organizations are offering badges, because I think it's quite important in terms of, if you have a digital identity, what's the significance of that? The next step of this is your digital footprint. And your digital footprint are all these social interactions in how you are participating or contributing to the community. So, for example, if you log in daily, if you post a post or comment on a post, so you can see over here, we've got Ridwan himself from Citizen Leader Lab. He's the education lead, and he shared a post about time to think. And then he's also shared a link to the mentorship forum. But the nature of Zibuza is pretty much exploration. And I think as curious people, I'd want to check out Ridwan's profile by clicking on it. And in this instance, I can see exactly who he is. I can see his bio. Wow, 43 years of his life. And then as I continue down, I can then see, I can also look at his stats. When did he join? How many posts he's made? How many people are following him? And when he was last active. Interestingly, if you look at the badges, already just in his short time in the community, Ridwan has earned a mentorship badge. He's been awarded the organization of the month in the year 2024, and he's also part of the alumni network. So again, as you can see, there's a variety of badges that you can earn that will go onto your profile. So as you grow your digital footprint, which is your portfolio of evidence, this will then be linked to your unique digital identity. And for the rest of the community, this is how we network. And this is one of the value propositions that we deliver on in this virtual space is if you are able to give people a unique identity, then what does that unlock in terms of value? It means that you have now networking opportunities where I can connect and follow Ridwan. I can also then look at the organization he represents. And so when I click on that, it will take me to Citizen Leader Lab. Every organization has a dedicated profile in the community where they can connect and build an audience with principals, teachers, learners, or parents. And so as that's loading up, you'll note that on the landing page, you saw a news feed, which is our public news feed that only teachers, principals, and organizations can see. Learners and parents have a dashboard. But every organization in the community has their own dedicated profile, so you can see who they are, what they do. They have got custom icons. You have the ability to rate and review the organization in terms of the value that they bring to the community, or even in person. If you have an experience with Citizen Leader Lab, you could come in and leave a rating and review. I think the benefit of that is there's a constant active feedback loop, whereby if it's positive, they can continue doing the great work that they're doing. And if it's negative, you give them some food for thought in terms of areas where they may improve. So you can see on this dedicated feed some of the stuff they're sharing. And this is how you can keep yourself updated and informed, whether it's events or materials. You can peruse their site. If you look at the statistics, they've got a bit more, organizations have more statistics because they have more tools to engage our members with. But you can follow this in terms of looking at how active and what does an organization offer in the education sector. So we can see 13 of Citizen Leader Lab staff is available. They've got 4 resources that they've uploaded. They're offering a badge, and we know that there's more badges on the way. They've got 22 tags. This is an indication of the breadth of what they focus on. And you can see when they've joined and when they were last active. So if you're keen or if you are part of the alumni network, I do suggest going to the Citizen Leader Lab profile and coming over here, clicking on the badge. And because I already have this badge, it has been awarded, but you should be able to earn this badge for yourself if you are part of the program. And you can see there already, we've got 4 people who have claimed that badge. As you navigate on the platform, you'll also see that they've uploaded 4 resources. And when you click on that, you can see that they've contributed these templates looking at the various school policies that are available to you at no charge. There's also indicators where you can see how many times it's been viewed and downloaded. And if you go into the resource, you can get more details about it. And you also have the opportunity to rate and review this resource. So we do encourage you guys that the more you guys give feedback, the more likely an organization is to be constantly uploading new resources for you to then download. Some of the metadata, that's what the term is. You can see there we are aware of data costs. So we do encourage organizations to keep their uploads in terms of small file sizes. So you can see this file is less than 1 meg worth of data. You can also see when it was uploaded. So as you can see, just from that first post in the community, once you've signed up and signed in, that you can navigate an individual's profile And you can also then find other places where you can engage with either an individual member or with an organization themselves. And that's just the first post, right? As we scroll down, you can see we've got other opportunities. We do work with suppliers. So in this case, we've got a great relationship with Quality Books. And if you go onto their online bookstore and you enter our code ZIP10, you'll get an extra 10% off the books that you'd want to purchase. And they've got quite a wide selection. I think it's over 6,000 books across different languages and different phases in education. But this is the benefits of being a member in this community. And I'm sure you can imagine the more we grow the community, currently we're on 35,000, but if we get it to 50,000, 100,000, I'm sure we'll be able to speak to a lot more companies in terms of unlocking benefits to our members. Okay, I'm going to now also open up the link that Ridwan posted. This will take you to our mentorship program, which is a way that we're facilitating knowledge transfer and sharing. So we can see there Ridwan has now come in. I've decided to follow this conversation because I'm very interested in leadership. But we can see what Ridwan is posting about. So yesterday he posted about what is leadership, and he unpacked that. He then went on to talk about the different types of leadership. So I didn't realize there was different types. So there's transformational, instructional, and then also above this is looking at how do we define Ubuntu leadership. So again, this is a source where you can come in, connect with people, find resources, and up your game, up your skills, refine your skills, add to it. And we're not limiting. So even though this is geared towards school leadership, as a teacher, you are also welcome to access these resources and learn from it. And then again, we've got these feedback loops. So if there's something that that person is saying that you like, and I love this, Ubuntu leadership embodies people-centered approach, right? And interconnectedness. Wow. So I would give that a like. Now, Ridwan will get notified about that, and he's probably going to be more encouraged to share more of himself and give more time and effort into sharing more about leadership. The other thing to note that is we believe everybody has something to contribute in the community. So you don't have to be a principal to know about leadership. And so we've given you the space as well to contribute to the discussion. So even though Ridwan is posted here, any member in the community that has access to the mentorship, including teachers, learners, and organizations, you can either ask a question in the forum or you can share your own version of leadership in here, and that will open up more discussions for other people to be involved. Now, as a platform, we do also look at how do we create rich, engaging experiences for members, because we do want to also offer the best in terms of social. And so you'll note this is the sharing toolbox, which is the universal way in which we publish information. So you have a text box, and you can see from Ridwan's post is using the text, but also you have the ability to upload photos. You have the ability to either pre-record videos or upload an edited video or link it to a YouTube link where you have an existing video published or you come across a video that is interesting. You can also post a link to a website or a resource repository, in which case it gets embedded within the newsfeed. You can upload a resource. So if it's a workbook or a worksheet, you can welcomely upload it there. And you can also create and share about an event that is happening. Once you post it, it will appear on the feed. In terms of other resources that's available, we've got organizations that have been contributing resources over the last 8 years. So I think we've got over 3,000 resources. If you click on latest resources, you can filter it by organization. You can filter it by grade or phase, and you can search for it using keywords. But this space that you're currently seeing is the 100 most recent resources that have been uploaded to the community. And As you peruse that, you can see that, again, there's a variety of resources, from policy documents to activities, to pledges, to mental well-being. And interestingly, the sharing ratio of views to downloads is 1 to 7. So for every one resource that gets contributed by a member, people will on average view it or download it 7 times. And so again, that speaks to this culture of sharing and collaboration. Um, I've showcased the mentorship where we facilitate knowledge sharing and transfer, but I wanted to go into it again just to showcase some of the mentors that we have, and again, the data dashboard that informs what's happening. So you can see we've got over 33 categories of conversation, 69 discussions, 34 voices that have initiated conversations, and over 249 replies have been generated as a result of this. So if you do the math, you can again see that ratio looks like about 1 to 7, 1 to 8 in terms of how people contribute. And as we scroll down, you can see we were in Ridwan's inspirational leadership, but we've got anything from ICT to robotics, to study skills, to early childhood development. And again, if you want, you can go into a person's profile, and you can connect with them and follow with them and engage with them. Groups are spaces that are collaborative in nature. I did earlier showcase you guys the book club with Funza Literacy Trust. But again, as you navigate through the community, you can find groups. As a teacher, principal, or organization, you can add a group. You do that by clicking on that button, and then you give it a title, you give it a description, you choose the privacy setting. Do you want it to be public where anybody can join? Do you want it to be private where people can view it, but they need to request to be able to join? Or do you want to make it secret where no, it doesn't appear in the directory, but then people can, or you can invite people to join it. But other than that, nobody knows about it, not even myself as the site admin. We then also give you the option to select who your audience is. So do you want to collaborate with other organizations only, or is it a mixture of organizations and principals? Or do you just want to create one for your learners? You can select a custom image that you can upload. And when you click on save, that group will be created. So again, just to show you guys, I feel like Zibuza is one of those massive directory services where you've seen our resources. You've now seen the groups that are available that you can join and participate in. We've also got an organization directory. So as Citizen Leader Lab is now our partner in driving school leadership, you can also see some of the other organizations that are available, and then you can either go into that organization by viewing them or following them. And I think, again, people are more encouraged to contribute to the community if they've got active members. So this relationship is dependent on one another. If organizations are contributing and teachers are not downloading or engaging, organizations stop contributing. But the more teachers and principals are actively downloading and engaging with organizations, the more encouraged organizations are to share information. There are some other features and functionality, but I did promise Ridwan that I would get him, because we've been working quite closely together, that he would showcase. So for now, I would like to end off by showcasing you guys our leaderboard. These are for organizations that are part of the community, but every role type has their own leaderboard. So teachers have a dedicated leaderboard. Organizations do, as well as principals kicking off. But you can see over there, we've got Miss Leanne Donson. She is currently leading our leaderboard, so she should get that accolade. And then we've got Ridwan and Adele in third spot. But then you can see who are the other members and which provinces they are. In terms of contributing, you can view their profiles, you can follow them, you can engage with them. And then this is something I wanted to share with you guys in terms of how points are earned. So you can see there we've got a whole list of what's known as social interactions. So if you comment on a post, you get 1 point. If your post or comments are liked by a different user, you get 2 points. And then this is the big one we're driving in terms of growing the community. So if you send an invitation and somebody joins the community, you get 5 points that will go onto your profile. And then in terms of legacy, you can see we've been around for quite a while. August of 2019 is when we launched this version of the platform, but every month we keep track of who are our top contributing members in the community. So if you think about where this becomes really practical, you could look at things like the National Teaching Awards or the Global Teacher Prize or school. And you could use this as evidence in terms of what you are doing within your respective role, within your community. And that is what I'd like to share with you guys today. I'd now like to hand over to Ridwan to walk us through the virtual library facility and a new AI function called Zibuza GPT, which is quite exciting. I think there we again on the cutting edge of technology, and we've built a custom GPT which is localized towards the CAPS curriculum, the whole school evaluation and school improvement program. So, Ridwan, over to you.
Can you see my screen? Welcome. Okay, you on mute?
Oh, sorry. I can't see your screen, so it is being shared.
So yeah, we're excited that we have embedded the AI chat in our platform. I say our platform. And so you can ask the platform anything related to, I'm just trying to see how I can, there we go. So we have embedded some information about old school evaluation, for example. So for principals, this one is for you.
And as Zibuza GPT is working away, just to share with you guys the background behind this is that we've actually used the policy documents from the DBE and customized it for this feature. So the responses you're getting are not generalized or global, they are localized for South Africa. I think in terms of saving time and effort, this is quite a phenomenal resource. Ridwan, I see you've exited. I was hoping you're going to show the guys we've specifically to Citizen Leader Lab and Time to Think. We've also incorporated those teachings into Zibuza GPT. So if you are part of the program and you'd like to see how you can practically incorporate Time to Think principles into your school, you can also prompt it and get that type of information. I did it earlier and I was quite blown away because it applied Time to Think principles across teachers, learners, and parents in terms of how I could implement it in engaging with those user types. So quite exciting. Ridwan, with that being said, are you ready to showcase the virtual library facility?
Sure. And just a reminder for you to also show the data on the different lesson plans that we have, in case you forgot. So, yeah. Just checking again, you can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we have key books here on our platform. And as you can see, this is this just makes my heart smile because we have a wealth of resource here for all of us. I mean, this is a carousel. Currently, you can see there are 8 books that are trending. All right. There's about 888 titles of what is currently your most popular book. These are new publications that gets cited whenever the new one appears. And then, of course, there's the quali books. And then if you want to be more specific, you're looking for a book for your little 3-year-old or between the ages of 3 and 9, you have a gift of selecting between 2,954 titles. Or you want to go to a little older ones between 8 and 13, 11 and 15, and so on and so forth. So this is your collage of what is available, a real brilliant resource. And so with that being said, if you go to the top, you can select the language of your choice. You can select any language. It will take a time before it pops. You know what's happening there, why it's not popping. Let's try.
You've got English selected as well, so maybe
Uh-oh.
deselect because it will
All right.
search the entire. This library facility has over 6,000 titles, so you can imagine when you click. There you go. There's it
So
done.
there it comes in
Awesome.
Afrikaans, and you still have the same categories of books that you can select. If you
Mhm.
unclick that and you want to go to a specific learning area, say for example, we select mathematics. Sometimes it takes a while.
There you go. Oh, it's starting to filter.
So that is what's on offer in terms of books that you can select. Then you have the other feature of seeing how many schools are online in South Africa, how many books have been accessed, how many pages have been read, and so on. And for a school, this is amazing. Individual schools can sign up. I think they can have something like 50 users to 200 or 500 users, but it comes at a cost. And we are in conversation to see if we approach Keybooks with a view there are so many extra interested schools, whether they will negotiate a bulk price for schools. But this one shows you how you can track the books as learners engage and read them. So here you can see books being accessed, total reading time, average time per book, the number of pages being read. This is very interesting. You have allocation during school hours, after school hours. And for me, what is a great data insight here is that learners are reading after school. You can almost see double the number of books being read after school. And that is where we want them to be. And so for me, that is just a great insight that we've gained from this thing. As you can see, titles, languages, a graph, total visits in pink, and first time visits. Everything is populated, dates and time. And so this is an amazing resource for a principal to have to know how his children are reading, track the grade, the ages, the language or the learning area, English, Afrikaans, or one of the indigenous languages. So this for me is just unbelievable. So yeah, that's my 5 cents piece, Malcolm. Over to you.
Excellent. So maybe just to add on, Key Books is one of our partners. They have updated their system. So as parents or individuals, you can purchase a license. I think it's 250 Rand a year to access the library. It's like the Netflix of libraries. So once you have a license, you can access all of the books and read unlimited, in terms of the titles. And then they also offer school licenses, as you'd once said, depending on your context. So, your school might have 1,000 learners, but you might only have a lab that has about 50 devices. So it doesn't make sense to purchase 1,000 licenses. You can purchase 50 licenses for the amount of devices you have, and the login details for the learners are the same. So it doesn't matter which learner is using it, it would be the same, but depending on how many licenses you purchase, it may prevent it. So if you purchase 50 licenses, the 51st person would then have to wait until somebody logs off for them to log in. But I think if you do have that problem, it's a great problem that kids are reading and waiting in queue to get access to the library facility. We then also work with sponsors. When Ridwan opened up Keybooks, you would have seen the Hollard plaque that came up. So again, we're working with schools to reduce the barriers in terms of costs, etc. So, if you chat to us and you're interested in getting the library, we can then connect you with sponsors who then pay for you to have access to your school. You guys are welcome to use the Zibuza sponsored version. However, the reporting is then aggregated with everybody who has access to the facility. So if you want more detailed reporting for your school, then we do suggest exploring either purchasing a license yourself or working with us in terms of getting a sponsor to then pay for your school. I think that was actually quite quick, that we went through all the features and functionality. But having said that, it is quite a lot. I think, like I said, the nature of the community is one of curiosity and exploration. So I'm glad I didn't overwhelm you guys with an hour demo of it. But I do want to share with you guys that we have agreed in our partnership that we will be hosting monthly webinars where we'll focus on more like specific features, how to sign up. And the next webinar will be, how to upload a resource or how to join a group. So we'll be having a series of these webinars in the hope that we will be able to also look at ICT adoption within schools, because I think one of the things that we tend not to speak about is the fact that even though we've got this leadership focus now in Zibuza through the alumni network with Citizen Leader Lab, by coming in and engaging on the community, you are actually working on digital literacy. You are learning the skills and the etiquette and how to engage in these online environments. So whether you're a principal or a learner, these things are beneficial to you in that it is also looking at work readiness. I can't think of a company that hasn't implemented technology in some way or form, whether it's emails or their own intranet system. So we do think that the platform itself is preparing people for the future, which is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. But by engaging with Zibuza, you'll definitely network and meet the most amazing people. You will get access to resources and tools that you can use. And you will up your digital literacy in terms of embracing and using technology in a very practical way. So that would be it from my side. We've got plenty of time for questions and comments.
Yeah, I think perhaps we open the floor for people just to ask a question or make a comment. I've seen the chat has been busy. Are you going to look at people who do homeschooling? This will help with increasing numbers. I'm sure it would be available, especially the library, for example, and the subjects. But your response, Malcolm?
We definitely do welcome people from all walks of life. So if you are homeschooling, you are welcome to sign up as a parent. We do have a dedicated learner profile that will give you access to all of our tools and facilities. If you are looking to build a more robust homeschooling community, then I would suggest engaging with the association you belong to and maybe getting them to sign up as an organization. And then they will have all the tools and features to manage that homeschooling community. So definitely, we would welcome anybody has anything to contribute to the community. Our job as a platform is looking at how can we curate information so that you get what you need when you need it. So definitely there. How about asking companies to sponsor children of their employees? Yes, definitely. I think part of our partnership with Citizen Leader Lab is also looking at trying to get co-funding applications out into the market. As Zibuza, we do have costs that we incur for the infrastructure, for the software development, for the resources, but we don't want to charge members for access. That is our promise. And it's been 8 years later. We've had some difficult times, but we have not charged. We have not resorted to charging people for that. But sponsorship, anybody who works in the sector knows how difficult it is for sponsorship. But we feel that we are gathering momentum. And I think that these types of partnerships will unlock funding, not just for ourselves, but anybody who's working in the education sector that will be able to use our data and our audiences, our beneficiaries, to support their funding applications. I see there's a question from Mary Jean about information dealing with social problems, including suicide threats, bullying for school counselors. We do have Micro, who is part of our organization, in our platform. So if you go into their organization profile, I know they've got a community safety and violence prevention group that they formed where they're sharing various resources. They have a wealth, and that's their speciality. They've also been around for many, many years. So that is available, and then you can connect with Micro as well in the community. I would also encourage you to explore Zibuza GPT because it can also guide you with certain information that is available. And the other option is also just to reach out to us and request it, because we go out there and we network. We find organizations or people or experts that are these domain specialists. And if you have a need for this information, we'll definitely find people that can support you and get them into the community. Yeah, kids from low socioeconomic backgrounds and need access to information for schools. This is part of our vision. We want to build a more inclusive and equitable schooling system. And this is why we don't discriminate, but our focus is public schools, quintile 1s, 3 to 3, but we don't exclude anybody else. So we do work with private schools. We've got teachers that are part of some of the elite schools in the country. We've got teachers that are in your quintile 4 and 5 schools. We've got people from all walks of life that are in the community. We've also got data to back up that. And I think as part of this partnership, I want to show you guys, I do see Kamala's hand is up. I don't know, do you want to comment or ask a question, Kamala, or do you want me to show the data? It's a surprise. It wasn't planned.
I have a question, but yeah, I can wait. It's not
Okay.
urgent.
I'm going to show you guys something that's not yet finished built, but I want to show you guys where we're headed with this, right? So we're currently working on building out a data dashboard that's going to provide so much insight, not just for us, but the entire sector. Bear in mind, this is not yet finished built, so if it's incomplete or there's errors, I do apologize in advance. But what we've looked at is if we were to build this community and it have impact, how would we tell the story? So the first one is, what is our reach? And when I click on that, you get an idea in terms of what's happening in this. So you can see over the last few years, the amount of people signing up. So this doesn't look very good, but when you look at our activities, we actually have an increase in engagement. So we'd rather have less people, but more quality and engagement than a lot of people with no engagement. And so these insights is what's driving our decisions and investments in the community. You then also get a view in terms of how many teachers, principals, learners, parents are available in the community, predominantly teachers, because that was our initial intention. We also have an idea in terms of which provinces are these members coming from. So if you look there, you can see Gauteng, okay, people haven't specified, and we've got KZN and the Western Cape. So again, I encourage, if you're on this call and you're in your different province, you can grow your province numbers in there. And then we can shift and also view different types of demographic data. as this is loading. So we can see the types of devices people are using to access the community. We can see the age groups of members. We can see the genders of members. And as we shift to engagement, we also have an idea in terms of who are the organizations that have contributed the most resources, in which year did they contribute them, and then which is our most valued resource in the community. And I think this is where we're still currently under construction. So, what are the activities that people are engaging in? And then, how do we measure value in the community? So, I wanted to share with you guys, this is again kind of where we act in terms of, data dashboards that can be used, you know, by the Department of Education or by corporations to decide. And this is what we're going to back up to show them that, guys will say, we want to make the investment, but there's no connectivity in rural areas. Guess what? We've got the data to showcase that we've got quite a big following from rural schools. And so that's something I wanted to share with you guys. Kamala?
So I'm just thinking about the people on the call and like next steps for all of us on the call. So there'll be principals on the call. I see some partners, Citizen Leader Lab team members. So the next step is to actually go and sign up, right? So
Correct.
and the link is zibuza.net. Maybe it's useful to put that in the chat as well.
Okay.
And we can use Ridwan's code when
I'll
we
put that in the
sign
chat,
up.
and I don't know. I feel like Ridwan's gonna have quite a lot of people linked to it, but it's fine. So he's put his code in. I've shared the link for you to
So is he
join.
going to get like lots of points? Are we helping
He gets
Ridwan get
5
lots of
points
points?
for every person that will sign up using his code. So he's
Thanks,
gonna be the networking master. I think we'll create a badge which will recognize
No,
people
Malcolm promise is
from.
going to give me some Voyager miles.
You joke, but I think if we were to get serious, right, we could go to an airline or any rewards company and say to them, can you guys give us discovery miles or Voyager miles or e-bucks for what people are doing on Zibuza? I think that's where the future is. That's what we'll do, right? In terms of next steps, we've shared the link in the chat. The registration process is simple, but I must warn you, when you sign up, choose your role. If you get it wrong, it's fine. We can always change it later. That's what we're able to do. But when you do sign up, you're going to get a verification email that normally lands up in your spam folder. So we do encourage you, if you do sign up and you don't get the email, please check your spam folder because that is most likely where it is. And once you verify that, you can sign in with the email and the password you've specified. You will then get full access to the community. I think beyond that, it's up to you guys to create your profile. As I said, upload a profile picture, share as much information as you want to and you're comfortable with. And I think from there, explore. There's no one way of doing things. You may find interest in the mentorship. You may want to navigate the news feeds. You may want to download some of the resources that are available. There is no one way of doing things. And I think then the data that we monitor in the background will inform us in terms of like, what can we do better to serve you guys? And also in terms of our partnership, you guys will drive what we share. If we share because we think we know what you need, it's probably going to be dysfunctional. But if you come to us and say, we need this policy, we need that tool, we need help with this. I know Citizen Leader Lab has partnership with Deloitte in terms of financial management. That type of content is the content we can unpack, but we do rely on members to kind of drive what it is we do and where we focus our efforts. So if you explore the community, you can then share feedback with either Ridwan in the team or with myself. And then we also mentioned we are planning on hosting monthly webinars where we'll have very focused areas. But again, you guys can inform what those webinars look like, etc. So that would be next steps.
Just from my side, Malcolm, I had another question, but Charlene wants to know, you mentioned data. So what are the data costs? Like, yeah.
Okay, so this is a barrier that we are aware of. In the past, we have looked at zero rating the site, and during COVID, we were one of the approved platforms. So we were zero rated, in which case there's no data cost incurred. What we did learn, however, is that zero rating comes with throttling, and throttling basically means you're not getting full access to the network. And to be honest, if you look at the data, there was no significant increase in terms of usage. And I think it's largely due to that throttling process. So even though we've removed the data cost, the throttling takes away from, like, for example, if you wanted to stream a video on Zibuza, it would buffer, right? So you become frustrated, you log off. I do know that there's a lot of chats from government. The challenge is there's Department of Communication and there's Department of Basic Education. And I haven't quite figured out which one is going to drive this. I think the onus is also on the mobile operators. As part of their spectrum licensing, they supposedly should roll out fiber connectivity to schools. So we're hoping that, once that happens, then schools will have access. I do also think that there are opportunities in community hubs where they do have Wi-Fi connectivity. In terms of data, we do encourage our members to keep their file sizes low. So you're not going to download a 50 meg file. You saw with the one policy document, it was under 1 meg. So we do incur data cost, and at the moment, that is really the only real cost that we haven't been able to remove. I do think, again, through partnerships, if we were to partner with a province or a national and we get a mobile operator involved, we could look at different aspects. One of the things I'm keen on is data free. Data free differs from zero rating in that you get full access to the network, but somebody has to pay for it. So we need to get a corporate sponsor who's willing to pay for the data, but then we do accurately be able to determine the traffic on Zibuza, and that corporate would then pay so that we could reduce the data costs for users, especially in rural areas or under-resourced communities.
Thank you, Malcolm. Just one more thing from my side. We are hoping to have more champions. We have onboarded a number of our champions, principals, who are keen to be on social media and not shy away from social media. So if one of those social media animals, though, sorry for that word, and you want to be a champion on our Zibuza platform, please reach out to me and then we will do a one-on-one onboarding session with you to show you what we have shown you today and a little more. But the idea is we are all Africans, and I am because you are, and you are because we are. And I see a wealth of information, experience, and knowledge sitting on this call alone. And so I want to encourage you, even if you're not a school principal or a teacher, see somebody like Rama, for example, not to pick on him. Hi, Rama. Who has so much to offer and so much to share. And I believe this is a platform where much of these things can happen. Yeah. And I would like to just maybe ask our board member, David Morris, maybe just to say a few words before we're going to have Kamala having the final word. And I see Yancy is also on the call. Don't know if Yancy wants to say something. And then maybe Rama, just a word from you and anybody else. Dave, any comment from your side?
Yes, well, I mean, thanks, Malcolm, for all your presentation here. I mean, it was really interesting. I think it's really going to go a long way to help our partners schools to get a full suite of sort of benefits. So, as a collaborative partner, I mean, I think this looks really exciting. I was all the time thinking, how can I use this? How can I use this? And I'm still a little bit at sea on that one. But I'll engage with Ridwan. I'm sure you can give me some tips. But I do think it's fascinating, and from my own experience in a partnership, I can see that this is something which it's going to really work well, and I do feel that the partnership kind of work together will actually maximize the sort of extraction of resources and really benefit to the whole school community. So yeah, thank you very much, Malcolm. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave.
I think it's a really good thing. Yeah, I think as our relationship grows, we can learn a little bit more about you as an organisation, and maybe there's other opportunities as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Any comment from you, Mr. Roma, Mr. Naidu?
I'm just fascinated by everything that I hear today. And I think the point for us is that this platform is only as good as we choose to use it. And that's what's going to make the difference. It's been a long time since to bring the alumni together. And now that we are here, and Malcolm, thank you for a really well-crafted tool. It seems user-friendly. And I'm just dying to get in and dive in and start to share our resources and I love the AI assistant. I think that's going to make our lives very easy. The question, the information pops up magically. So I'm looking forward to this. Great effort.
Thank you, Rama.
Thank you. Thank you, Roma. I then I see some other people on the call. Alex, Audrey, Yancy, Norma, anybody?
So Ridwan, I can say I've registered. It's really easy. Also love the AI assistant. So it looks like a fabulous website. Looking forward to use it. And I hope everyone's going to go in and register. It's really easy to do.
Thank you, Yancy.
Thank you.
All right. If there's nobody else, we're going to have our amazing Komala, kind Komala, I used to call it.
Thanks,
last
Ridwan.
word.
So I didn't want to have the last word. I actually wanted to just expand a bit more on the opportunities for different people. And Dave said he wasn't sure what there is for him. But I think it's clear for the principal. And what I can also see, if I'm correct, the principal can get their team members onto the platform as well. So there's no obstacle, there's no limit or constraint on who can sign up. So that's the one thing. Principals, teachers, there are parents, and Malcolm, you shared the opportunity for parents. There's lots of parents in the room. And there are also partners in the room, right? There are people here who are partnering with Citizen Leader Lab, partnering with different schools. And there's an opportunity for you to share your offerings and reach a wider audience through this platform. So that's at least some of I think in your language, you would use the use cases, say, Malcolm, some of the opportunities for different roles. And we haven't forgotten our business leader alumni. I think that's still coming, but there is an opportunity for business leaders to also log in and maybe to increase your understanding of the challenges in education. So I think there's a lot of opportunities. It's not obvious, of course. It's not obvious. You have to go in and play. And I'm just looking at some of the faces on the call, and we're all super young, so we're going to run and immediately start playing with tech because we love tech. No, I mean, and I include myself as that. We're all a little bit resistant. We're all a little bit afraid. Many of us have heard about AI, and we are, not certain. We've watched Terminator, so we really don't know what's going on with this. And I really love that. A couple of you mentioned that the AI tool stands out, and AI is scary, but once you start using it, it makes your life so much easier. For those of you who are feeling, I don't have time, it's just like, I can't wait for December because I'm exhausted. AI is an opportunity to create time for you. It does take some bravery. It does take a little bit of a risk. But what I love is that you are suggesting monthly sessions to support people. So people, for example, trying AI and they're just not getting it right, you can have a session where people can share their experiences and help each other. And that's, it's technology, right? But ultimately, at the heart, it's community. It's community coming together and supporting each other. And that's what we mustn't forget. With all the technology, the humanity still is the most important thing. So I do want to make also a special note, Ridwan, for you. I know it's not it's not a normal thing to be using tech like this, and I can see how you're getting more comfortable, and it really is inspiring. And I'm sure you will inspire many of the principals on the call. So yeah, I didn't want to say the final word, but I wanted actually to continue the conversation. Maybe there are other principals here who are afraid, not sure. Maybe there are people who are excited and they want to share it. Maybe there's partners who'd like to put their information on Zibuza. Maybe there's that opportunity to share as well.
Mm.
I see
And I think
Ingrid. Oh,
I was
sorry,
going to say,
Malcolm.
as
I see Ingrid Harris from the Gauteng Education Department is one of our very first people who joined this afternoon. And we're excited
yes,
to have her in the room. So, Ingrid, I hope you don't mind us putting you on the spot. Maybe just a comment from your side.
Good afternoon, everybody.
hey Ingrid.
Uh, the problem is, Malcolm, that I've heard the presentation before, and so it was really, yes, the AI did also stand out for me. And every time I listen to the presentation, there's something new. And there's something new for me to focus. I signed up and I've invited quite a number of my colleagues to join the platform. So yeah, it's very interesting. And
Thank
looking
you so
forward to more interactions.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ingrid.
Thank you.
And maybe
Ridwan, I wanted to
from our
say,
oh,
I
sorry.
saw in the chat, Mary, is it Mary Jane, who said,
Mhm.
was that comment deleted now? Where is it? Oh, she's saying, yeah, wonderful from a formal social worker, about 70 years, senior teenager. I just want to say, Mary Jean, we've got retired school principals like Maputi Rabuhala, who's the techno granny. She's active. She's got a phenomenal profile. We've got Adele Moy, full disclaimer, is also my mom. She's going to kill me. She turned 72 on Saturday, in fact. She's very active around early childhood development in the community. So again, everybody's welcome. We've got pre-service teachers. We've got teachers from UJ, third year, fourth year, doing coding and robotics, doing reflections in the community. We've got in-service teachers. We've got retired teachers that are active in the community. So everybody has something to contribute.
So we have just whet your appetite a bit. Malcolm didn't share
Got
the
Mary
wealth
Jane's
of.
hand up there, Ridwan.
Oh, Miss Mary. Okay, Mary, unmute.
Mute.
No, I'm very excited about it. Redwan, you got me into this. So I'm wanting to set up a meeting with people that I know that are not, some of them are retired teachers, but others are in other sectors, including business. And the comment I made about business was knowing what it was like working with parents who didn't have much money, and that when they got home at about 6 or 6:30 at night, would then have to try and figure it out because the libraries were closed. It was too dangerous to go. So that maybe a company would then sponsor their employees' children to have access to the internet, to be able to get the information that they need for school projects. Because otherwise what I saw happening was that the children phoned the parents and said, I need this. Then the parents came to me and said, my child needs this for a project. So I helped them find the information, which they then did for their children, and their children kind of panel beat it to go home. And I'm thinking of a way of empowering the children. I mean, if you look at Khayelitsha Library, it has a limit to the number of computers that are there compared to the number of children who then attend schools, some in the suburbs, some in Khayelitsha, and have to get those skills while they're at school. And the other problem is, of course, with in some areas in Khayelitsha, actually doesn't have proper internet provision for a number of reasons. It's not just cables, but so to enable the children to get the skills that they need, not that their mothers have to. Yeah, I've retired, but I mean that kind of process. Of course, we help the parents, but there's another way of doing it. So, Redwan, yeah, you're in big trouble. I just think it is so exciting. But the one thing that you omitted is I'm becoming a senior teenager, so it's an S-ager, which is sager. That's a noun, a new
Sager.
noun. Sager.
Okay. I learned
Right.
something new.
Well, no, I created the noun.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we'll have to
Okay,
put,
thank you.
we'll have to put that in our AI, in our Zibuza, that you are the creator of the Sager. Thank you, Mary. Just so one last voice from a principal or two. We have a few principals on the call, but have they left? Anyone with a last word, comment before we sign off? All right.
I think maybe while we're waiting and stuff, I'd like to share some case studies, recent ones that we've had, because I think we are more than just a tech platform. We are a community, and in the coming weeks, we've got a literacy project that was born out of this community, where somebody reached out and one of our partners and said, we are engaging with a school in the rural Eastern Cape, and these guys don't have any library books. And we reached out to our partner, Quali Books, and they gave us a special on their books up to 80% off. And then we found a funder who purchased 10,000 rands worth of books. And so there's 4 schools, one in Mpumalanga, one in the Eastern Cape, and 2 in the Western Cape. And we've managed to secure 70,000 rands worth of books that we'll be distributing over the next couple of weeks. So these are the types of opportunities that we unlock just because somebody took the time to ask and said, this is a challenge, can you assist? We've got other case studies where we had SACE, the Council for Educators, reach out to us, and they said they've got a school in Limpopo where the grade 12s were going to write matric, and they weren't ready for maths because they didn't have calculators or worksheets. And so we then got a partner, Maths at Sharp, who generously donated 50 calculators as well as worksheets for those grade 12 learners. And so again, when you combine technology and community, these are the types of opportunities that we are going to unlock. But I think, as Rama said earlier on, this community is only as effective as the people that are part of it. So if you guys don't join, if you don't ask, if you don't show up, then we don't have a good reason to go to a corporate to fund this, whether it's for data subsidies or for resource subsidies or for scholarship opportunities. I mean, it's really endless in terms of what we could do as a nation with this type of ecosystem approach to education. So thank you from my side. And I'm excited about this partnership. It's got off to a great start. It's really excited me. And I think also, just to speak about it from a background, right? Because this is what guys don't always see is I think the Zibuza GPT was also largely influenced by our engagements with Ridwan and Depo in terms of the school policies, because that was a painful process. We had to go and search for all the policies from all the provinces, and then we had to review it and build it, and each one would get a turn to review and add to it. And that inspired me to build the Zibuza GPT system, where I thought, you know what, if I upload all these policies and I prompt GPT to create a template, I literally took our work from days into minutes. And now we're going to be uploading more policies, but less effort. So that's also some stuff to share in terms of, you know, how all of these things unfold. It's pretty awesome. Unintended consequences.
Good outcomes. Oh. So, final word from me to wrap up.
Ridwan, sorry,
Oh, sorry.
I think I saw Morris unmute to share. I just don't want to put you on the spot, Morris, but if you
Morris,
do
were
want to
you?
share something.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
I'm very sorry that I'm late, man. You know, always in church, when you come late, you are made to sit at the door, next to the door, and you are not allowed to speak. You know, we've got crisis in the school, you know, regarding the learners that are just seeing things that so we had a session with our WCD counselors to just counsel learners and teachers at the same time. So that's why I just logged in late. But I really want to say I'm keen and I'm looking forward to learn more, and obviously to to get that external support as a school. It will always help me to to grow and build the school better, because my belief every time is that as a teacher, principal, there's certain things you can do up to a certain extent, and you need external and structures like yourselves guys to come on board and assist us. And the partnership that we've got, we are new in this program. We just started in August. The business partner that we've got is from Abagold. There's a sign and an indication of where we're going in terms of changing how we have been doing things. Although we've got serious problem with connectivity as always. Thank you for holding you a little bit and listening to me.
Thank you, Morris.
I'm going to ask Pranay maybe to say if I saw he switch his camera on and then disappeared again. Would like to hear your voice, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
I was fortunate enough to be part of the discussion, and I do think that the platform will be advantageous to many institutions. It's almost like your intranet of LinkedIn for specifically education. So it would help lots of institutions. And I also think that partnership is key to expand knowledge that we have with others. I am representing a district in Pretoria, specifically part of Gauteng Department of Education, Swane North District. And we as a district are quite keen to see how we can expand this within our own sector to the 172 schools that we look after. So thank you for the opportunity and for putting this on a platform like this. Highly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pranay. I will definitely be reaching out to you soon. And we'll set up some time to have a session with you.
We look forward.
Okay, thank you.
Just checking last, going once, twice. Any last word from anybody? As we conclude, may I ask you to switch your cameras on, and we're going to ask you to create a reaction so that we can officially launch. Let's use the platform to our advantage. So switch on your cameras, and then on a count of 3, we will. I don't know which one it was you had, Kamala. That looks like a confetti type of thing. But I think that will be beautiful. So please switch your cameras on. Welcome into the community finally. And before we do that, I just want to share with you that this is the community that we've all been waiting for. And the waiting is over. Now it's the time for us to do our thing and to connect with one another. And in the words of Ashraf Garda, I would like to quote him. He says, "If I win, you win. And if you win, we win. And if we win, South Africa wins." So let's use this platform to get South Africa back on a winning streak. And then in the wise words of our former late president, Mr. Nelson Mandela, when he says that it's within your hands, it's within our hands to make of our world a better place. And it is so keen and so important for us to make this world a better place for all of our children. So with that, let's get our reaction going and celebrate the launch of a wonderful partnership. And we want to see this community growing from strength to strength. Hi, Denzel. Nice to see you. Everybody give a nice Ubuntu wave. Thank you, everybody. All right, we have recorded the session. There's been requests, and so we will make it available we'll send out a thank you email with an evaluation as well as a copy of this recording. Thank you so much for your time, everybody. We appreciate you being here. The real work and the hard work starts now. Okay.